You may proceed when ready.
Dropping to thruster velocity.
Lakon Juliet Uniform Sierra. Please note this station is under Imperial sovereignty. All regulations must be observed during docking procedures. Access is now granted. Please proceed to Bay 17.
Landing gear deployed.
Touchdown confirmed. Commencing offload. We are glad to have you with us at this station, Commander. ship is released. Please observe speed restrictions upon exiting.
Initiating jump sequence. Dropping to thruster velocity.
Lakon, Juliet Uniform Sierra. The Imperial Flight Operations Bureau offers their warmest greetings, Commander. Access permitted. Please make your way to landing pad 32.
Landing gear deployed.
Ship released. Please observe safe speeds when traversing the docking bay.
Dropping to thruster velocity.
Lakon Juliet Uniform Sierra. Please follow standard docking procedures by order of the Imperial Flight Operations Bureau. Approval is granted. Proceed at your earliest convenience to pad 02.
Landing gear deployed.
Docking complete. Lockdown procedure initiated. Welcome to the facility, Commander. You have been disengaged from the dock. Depart when ready.
Initiating jump sequence. Dropping to thruster velocity.
Lakon, Juliet Uniform Sierra. The Imperial Flight Operations Bureau offers their warmest greetings, Commander. Permission granted. You are cleared to set down on landing pad 2-5. coupler disengaged. Please observe safe speeds when traversing the docking bay.
Initiating jump sequence.
Tu vei înțelege și el va înțelege. Orașul nostru e distrus, nu avem unde merge. Ars, orașul nostru viu ars, ars.
Dropping to thruster velocity.
Lincoln, Juliet Uniform Sierra. Please comply with station regulations on your approach to this Imperial facility. Your docking request has been approved. We have prepared for your arrival on pad 10.
Landing gear deployed.
Landing successful. Lockdown procedure initiated. The Imperial Flight Operations Bureau welcomes you to this facility, Commander.
răsar, muguri din scrum răsar, roșii ca un trandafir. Și îți dorești mai mult de atât decât un fir. Subțire fir, viața ne ține în picioare, nu se știe cum de pământul fuge mai departe. Ne rămân doar umbre, ne rămân doar umbre, ne rămân doar
Uncoupling sequence complete. Please observe speed restrictions upon exiting.
Initiating jump sequence. Dropping to thruster velocity.
Lakon, Juliet Uniform Sierra. The Empire cordially welcomes you to our facility, friend. Docking request approved. Set course for landing pad 40.
Gear down.
Landing gear deployed.
Landing complete. Initiating lockdown procedures. The Imperial Flight Operations Bureau wishes you a pleasant and productive visit, Commander. Landing restraints retracted. Please observe safe speeds when traversing the docking bay.
Gear up.
Retracting landing gear.
Jump in.
Initiating jump sequence. Dropping to thruster velocity.
Lakon Juliet Uniform Sierra. You are approaching an Imperial facility. Please comply with all dictates and procedures. Access is now granted. Please proceed to Bay 02.
Landing gear deployed.
400 meters from touchdown. Touchdown confirmed. Commencing offload. We are glad to have you with us at this station, Commander.
He's the people at a funeral, knows everybody's disapproval. I should have rushed it to receive. If they're heading where we did speak, he's the last you might be. Every song is getting ugly, a fresh poison each week. We were born sick, heard them say. My church offers no absolutes. He told me push it on that room. He only had me to say
You have been disengaged from the dock. Depart when ready.
I was born sick, but I learned to
Initiating jump sequence.
take me to church. I worship like a dog at the shrine of lies. I tell you my sins and you can sharpen your knife. Offer me the darkest day. Good God, let me give you my life. Take me to church. I worship like a dog at
Dropping to thruster velocity.
Lakon, Juliet Uniform Sierra. The Imperial Flight Operations Bureau offers their warmest greetings, Commander. Docking request approved. Please land on designated pad numbered 10.
Landing gear deployed.
Landing complete. Initiating ship lockdown. Our facilities are at your disposal, Commander. Detachment sequence complete. Please observe safe speeds when traversing the docking bay.
Retracting landing gear. Initiating jump sequence.
You are now clear of the station. Thank you, Commander. Have a splendid journey.
Hey, what's going on, Excalibur? How long have I been at this? This community goal or this game? The community goals, both of these just started a couple days ago. I've been at it. I started when it started. When was it? Thursday? But I didn't play at all yesterday, so I've probably got, I don't know, a total of maybe 5 hours total. Deploy weapons.
Weapons deployed.
Chaff. 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 Yeah, I've just been going back and forth between the two. Mostly the trading, because the trading one's gonna finish before the bounty hunting one. Chaff. So been trying to stay in the top 25% of the trading one, which has been a pain. Chaff. And I keep jumping back to it every time I fall out of the top 25%. Because, like I said, it's going to end. They're going to reach the top tier. Retract weapons.
Retracting hardpoints.
If I had to guess, it's going to be tonight, as quick as it's going. Let's see. I mean, it's moving fast. You see, it's already halfway up tier 7. So if I had to guess, it's going to be tonight. I know it's way late for Europe. So, the hell, I didn't say that. And actually, it's getting early in the morning for Europe. So, between the overlap early in the morning and late Saturday night for the stateside, I think it'll be over probably within the next 6 or 8 hours. The trading one. But if you have a big ship, it'd be easy to get in and get to the top 25, maybe even the top 10. If you have a big ship. This is my second account, so I don't have a lot of stuff on it. My main account is out in Colonia, or actually about 2,000 or 3,000 light years to the left of Colonia. It might still be going. Drop.
Dropping to thruster velocity.
Deploy weapons.
Weapons deployed.
Yeah, on this account, that's the biggest one I have. Target. Chaff. Target. Target. Chaff. Target. Chaff. Target. Chaff. Target. 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 Yeah, I have one more account on PC and one account on Xbox One. Target. 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 Chaff. Target. Target. Chaff. 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 Target. Target. Chaff. Tracked weapons.
Retracting hardpoints.
Jump in.
Initiating jump sequence.
Gotta run. It started out for basically sometimes I run 2 instances at the same time of the game. Like for instance, if you're loading up rares, you can only have X amount of rare in your cargo hold, or the station won't sell you anymore if you have any in your cargo hold. So I would set out of the station with my main account and run back and forth every 10 minutes with my second account and jettison it out at my main account and pick it up with my main account. Things like that. And like I said, my main account is about 24,000 light years away from here, away from the bubble. So, and being that we have a player group that was added to the game about a year and a half ago, we have a system to maintain. So I always have an account near Nevermore, where our main player faction's at, and then we're having another sister faction added out in the Colonia area because we got in the Colonia Expansion Initiative Phase 5, and we're being added out in the Colonia area, 22,000 light years away. And now I'm working on my second account in order to build it up a little bit, because I plan on moving it to the Colonia area and leaving it out there and bringing my main account back. Drop.
Dropping to thruster velocity.
Core Dynamics, Juliet Uniform Sierra. The Imperial Flight Operations Bureau welcomes you to our territory. We are honored by your visit. Station services have been informed.
The name of our main faction in Nevermore is called Dreadful Nomads. The name of the other faction that's being added out in Colonia is Nomads of Nevermore. gear down.
Landing gear deployed.
Shit.
Landing complete. Systems offline. The Imperial Flight Operations Bureau wishes you a pleasant and productive visit, Commander.
This month will be 2 years since I founded Dreadful Nomads, and Nomads of Nevermore was founded when the Colonia Expansion Initiative started at the end of 2016. We were added to the game. Dreadful Nomads were added to the game, I believe, in June of 2016, I think. That sounds about right. Well, that was a shitty run. 200,000. Galaxy map.
Activating galaxy map simulation.
So this is where we're at. Dreadful Nomads. And controlling faction, that's us. We control both stations, Pinto Ring and Boreal Enterprise. We're at 56.9% influence in the system, and the number 2 is 13.3. And the account that I'm on now, see this Admiral Justice Sigfast Carrison? This account, this description was written by me, and this second account was created before this was actually put up here, and the name of my second account is Commander Justice Carrison. The name of my first account is Skip Shooter. Be right back. I got to get up a minute.
who stands in our way will be destroyed.
Alright, I'm back. I doubt that moved me at all out of the top 75. Damn, that one turn in moved me to top 50 out of the top 75. Go hit another run. If you're back, to answer your question, it only takes 2 to keep a faction at the top of the list in the system. If you're there.
Sequence complete. You are clear for departure.
Yes and no. It depends on your opposition. One commander can do it, but 100% depends on the opposition. If you get heavy opposition, then no. Then you have to have help. Jump in.
Initiating jump sequence.
We would like to have more. I mean, we are recruiting. The hell am I doing?
Dropping to thruster velocity. Weapons deployed.
Welcome back. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, to answer your question, it depends on the opposition. One commander can actually do it, but not if you're opposed by, two commanders, and so on. And it also depends on how much work you put in. So one commander could do it if they put in more work than two commanders, and so on. So we have had to have help before. But once you're on top and you're above the 50% or so threshold, the regular goings on in the system by commanders who are directly or indirectly supporting you kind of keeps everything going. You almost have to be opposed in order to lose your influence. So if a big group attacked us, then there's no way that two guys could stay on top. If a medium-sized group attacked us and we reached out for help, like we have in the past, then we could hold our own and stay at the top, and or win the civil war that breaks out because of someone pushing the influence of another faction. So it really just depends, as long as we don't go around looking for allies, but we also don't go around looking for enemies. So for the most part, as long as you stay honest with the other groups, and in general, like I told you, there's only two of us. Back in the past, before I started this group, one of the reasons I even started this group was because of the hype that other groups throw out there as propaganda to say that, hey, we have 300 members and blah 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 blah, when in actuality they have hardly no members. A lot of the big groups, not all of them, but a lot of the big groups will claim all of these members when that's nothing more than the people who have registered on their website, or everyone who has ever joined, even if they're AFK and hadn't been around for a year. And that's why, one of the reasons why I started Dreadful Nomads was to stop that crap. Was to, if it's just me, I'm going to say it's just me. If it's just me and another guy, I'm going to say it's just me and another guy, rather than saying, oh, we have 27 members, or we have 50 members, or whatever, when it's just not true. So we used to purge our roster if people weren't around for 2 weeks, and if we didn't know anything, didn't hear anything, target, then they were gone. If a recruit wasn't on every day or the majority of days for 2 weeks, then they didn't make the cut. That used to be the way that we done things, and since then, and just here recently, me and the other guy spoke about it and decided, hey, the nature of this game is people do go away, people do disappear, and they come back, and they want a home when they come back. And rather than come back and we have kicked them and they go somewhere else, we're going to change the way we do things a little bit. And as long as people commit to not hurting us when it comes to the background sim and everything in the game, then we'll keep people on board. Is your only indicator that you're losing ground or gaining ground the percentage? For the most part, yes, but you can look around. Sometimes you can look around, like if there is a faction, a minor faction that exists in another system around you, and maybe there's a community goal, or maybe there's something going on to push them into boom. The states for minor factions in all of the systems that minor faction exists are persistent. So if they go into boom in one for whatever reason, sometimes it's a good trade route, sometimes, you know, a lot of times it is indirect. It's stuff that commanders are doing that they don't know they're doing, or they're not doing it on purpose. It's indirect stuff. So, like I said, if there's a presence of a faction in another system, and depending on what's going on in that other system, they may well hit boom state, and for whatever reason they hit that boom state, may end up carrying missions or doing something in your system, which will in turn raise their influence in your system as well. So there's a lot to it, but at the same time, the background sim is still fairly cryptic. We have an understanding of it, but it's a constant learning curve when it comes to the background sim, for us anyway. Chef. And we do everything. We haven't in a long time, but the purpose of our group is to not paint ourselves in a corner. Chaff. And by me saying painting ourselves in a corner, we don't want to be PvE only. We don't want to be traders or miners only. We don't want to be only anything. We don't want to be pledged to a power and say that we're Imperial, or say that we're Federation, or, you know, whatever. Chaff. Retract weapons.
Retracting hardpoints.
Myself and the other guy, and everyone that we've had in the past, and we have been through dozens of members, have pretty much done it all. Yes, that is true. Yes, you do need to track what's going on around you, and you know there's a maximum of 7 factions in a system, 7 minor factions. For instance, one of the non-local factions to our system, Kamote Resistance, that is a minor faction from Kamote, a next door neighboring system, and it's not a player group either. Not to say a player group cannot push a non-player group faction, but anyway, we have been systematically over the course of many months pushing them down in influence, because we have a max of 7. We were maxed out at the 7 minor factions in our system. We pushed them low enough to where they went into the retreat state. And I haven't checked today. I checked yesterday. Depending on what happens in their home system and our system, if the retreat state succeeds, then basically they disappear from the system. And hopefully that's what they've done, because they're federation, we're independent. And when I say independent, we're independent. There is no alliance or anything, any other power, anything that we are officially pledged to. If we do anything for a power, it's for our own benefit. If we do anything for anyone other than ourselves, it's for our own benefit, not for their benefit. We're what they call a unionist, which is, if you add independent plus confederacy together, that in the game becomes a unionist, meaning that we don't really ally with anyone, but we don't attack people for any reasons. We look out for our own benefits as a minor faction, and we'll do things with and for other types of factions, but for our benefit. If it doesn't benefit us, then we're not doing it. Drop.
Dropping to thruster velocity.
Core Dynamics, Juliet Uniform Sierra. The Imperial Flight Operations Bureau welcomes you to our territory. We are honored.
Do they reappear close by? No, they retreat into their home system. Player faction or a minor faction cannot completely disappear. At some point before we were added to the game, they reached expansion state, which they ended up expanding to our system, and they also expanded to other systems during other expansions. So basically they retreat to their own system. So for instance, our home system, Dreadful Nomad's home system, is Nevermore. If we reach 75% influence, we'll go into expansion state, and a radius of about 30 to 35, maybe 40 light years, you can potentially go into that system, any system that has less than 7 minor factions in it. And the system states, or the states of the controlling factions, have a lot to do with that. So if they're in a bad state and there's 6 factions and they're within, say, a 30 light year range, and we hit 75% in our own system, then we will very well may expand to that system and start off at the bottom in influence percentage and have to work our way up. If we get down below the 3%, I think it's either 5 or 3% influence in the system, and that is not our home system, then you go into retreat state. And there's a lot of things you can do to block that, or to null that, so that you don't get pushed out of the system. But basically, if you lose during that retreat state, then you retreat back to your home system.
Da. Mă consider un om fericit. Împlinit, adică mulțumit cu mine însămi.
Când ajungi sus pe podul, da. Dar este timpul lui nu.
Does that outlook keep you from earning huge amounts of credits? To answer that, when you're pushing or supporting a player faction or a minor faction, and you're working the background sim, as they call it, credits are not necessarily a part of the goal. So sometimes you end up spending credits or losing credits in the process. Sometimes you don't earn anything. Sometimes you're only earning whatever actions you're doing to support that faction, or to push that influence, or whatever it may be. So sometimes you're just running missions. And if you're running missions, like boom data delivery missions and things like that, not a lot of credits in that. So no, you don't get rich doing that. It's just really, I mean, if you get burnt out on this game, on the credit grind, then the thing to go to is the background sim. And again, we're looking for people that do everything. So it's not just the background sim, not just PvP, not just this, not just that. There's commanders that don't want to be painted into a corner by saying, well, the group that I joined does this, so I have to do it. Now we do want help when it comes to the background sim when we need it, but for the most part, Dreadful Nomads go where they want, when they want, and why they want. And again, we don't look for enemies, but we're also not looking for allies at the same time. So, but as far as credits go, if you're supporting a minor faction and that's your main thing that you're doing, you're not going to get rich very fast doing that. You can do lots of other things to make you more money quicker. Is there an easy way to search for them? To search for what? Let's see, does that outlet give you too much credits? Do they reappear? Search for them as far as the factions in retreat, or factions, if for near everything, if you go into the galaxy map,
Activating galaxy map simulation.
and go to this tab right here and go to the map, you can, let me select all of these since that's the different star types. There's different filters, and you can go to state. Here's retreat. Outbreak is what I had selected last time I done it, but all the different states, so you can filter it by that. And you see, when I back up, you see you don't see many stars. So yeah, I mean, if that's what you're asking, then yeah, there is a filter for different types of economy. There is none, you know, that's going to show everything. There's a population, or none, that's going to show everything. So none, allegiance, that's going to be Federation, Empire, Alliance, or Independent. Government type, there's the different government types in the game. So yeah, you can refine your filter, you know, to show you what's here. For the most part, don't forget about your filter. You know, I usually, it depends. Like if you're doing a lot of exploring or traveling, should I say, not really exploring, but traveling long distance, you may want to go to star type if you're traveling, and go to star class and only do the scoopable stars. That's what this is. O, B, A, F, G, K, M. Those are all scoopables. All of these are non-scoopables. This non-sequence star would be black holes, neutron stars. I believe that's it. But that's if you're traveling long distance. If you're not, if you're just in the bubble messing around, then don't forget to set your filter back to none, because even if you go to this realistic setting here, map, it's still gonna, the filter carries over. This is moving right along too. This may make it finish by the end of this long Labor Day weekend. Maybe not though. It's only got 4 days total left anyway, but we'll see. I would like to get in the top 10 of both of them, but the top 25 of that one. With such a small ship that I have, a T7 with 304 tons, May be hard getting into there, into the top 10, but it'll be a good look picking up. It'll be over 21 if it reaches tier 8. Search for a specific faction. I don't know if it works in the game or not. There is, let's type in Dreadful Nomads and see what happens. Nope. So to search for a specific faction, the best way would be probably using a third party like Anara. Do you know what Anara is? Anara.cz. EDDB.io also has it. Just type Nomad. Let's see. That went a long way. Nomad 1, that's a system name. So let's hit it again. Another Nomad 1. So that's looks like a sector name, Nomad. Which is roughly 5,000 light years away from here. Well, it'll search for stations. Like I know for a fact in our system, Nevermore, there is a system called Pinto Ring. So if I type in Pinto Ring, it'll go to Nevermore. See? So it does search for stations too. And here's Pinto Ring. Should the game allow to search for factions in the future? I don't know. I mean, I'm not against it. But there are other ways to find that. Now, the third-party stuff that use the API from the game, they're not right 100% of the time. But if you go to, let me find the link. I don't know if you've heard of it or not. So if you have, let me know, and I won't bother looking it up. But Anara is what I use for that. I use different ones for different stuff, although some of the features will overlap. Galaxy minor factions. So yeah, for engineer stuff, that's something else I use Anara for. But that part of Anara, you can search minor factions. And if you typed in, let's see what happens. Type in Dreadful Nomads, and it pops up, and I search, and it shows us in Nevermore. Player faction, yes, so there are third-party websites that use the game API to get this stuff, but it's not, and some of it's using an API, and some of it's actually put in by players, some of it's put in by logs that players use that tie it to an API of a third-party website. There's different ways that the websites get it, but for the most part, you can't count on it being 100% accurate all the time. But from my experience, between all of my accounts since early April 2015. I have about 35 to 3,800 hours playing this game. So based on that, I would say it's about 95% correct in my dealings with the third-party stuff. And as time goes on, more and more third-party stuff pops up. Yep, that's correct. I'm getting up again. I'll be back in a few minutes.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again. When I see you again. It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again. Without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again. It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again.
what's going on, man? I was on a smoke break. And Excalibur was inquiring about joining, and I've been bouncing back and forth between the two community goals. On my second account.
Landing restraints
What are you up to?
Please observe safe speeds when traversing
Still
the docking bay.
out at the beach. Jump in.
Initiating jump sequence.
You are now leaving the controlled zone. Safe travels, Commander.
Yeah, I think all we're waiting on is for them to fill out an app and be accepted on the website. That's just a formality. But during our conversation, it kind of seemed like maybe he was just looking for help and help understanding the game. And I don't know how much experience he has, but like I told him, you know, we both have friends of all sorts in the game, and we don't mind helping people whether they're members or not. Not to try to discourage them from joining, but you know, just to make it clear that you don't have to be a member in order to get our help. He was asking questions like, so it only takes one or two commanders to stay on top of a system and things like that. And my reply was, you know, it just 100% depends on your opposition. You know, if you don't have opposition, then one commander can manipulate a system. So that's kind of what we've been talking about. The hell am I doing here? Okay. That's about as far as we got, talking about how many accounts I have and why I have them and things like that. I think he said something about, you know, that's 2 and 3 times the grind, but and that's true. But you know how my first account is setting, and being out in Colonia, there's really nothing to grind on out there at this point. Oh, well, that's cool. I think GeoFat started the game before I did. I started when it came out on Steam. I think that was the first week of April 2015. I had heard about the game while it was in alpha and beta, but didn't really look into it because, believe it or not, sci-fi is not really my thing. But over the months that it went live and before it came out on Steam, I started looking more into it, and it just looked like a game that I would enjoy, so I ended up buying it when it came out on Steam. Drop.
Dropping to thruster velocity.
Yeah, my main account's sitting pretty good. I mean, if I were in the bubble, then I could be grinding on engineer stuff, deploy weapons.
Weapons deployed.
What in the hell? Okay. But since I'm so far out, I could be doing more exploring, but I'm already elite explorer, so there's always something to do, you know. Excalibur was telling me that he gets kind of turned off by some of the other player groups. He didn't mention any, but just in general about people cursing a lot. And I told him, you know, that that's not forbidden around us, but both of us are in our 40s, and you know, I'm pretty sure I speak for both of us when we say we could take or leave it, and respect other people's wishes when it comes to that. Shooting rails at me. I finally moved into the top 25% of the trade CG. How long I'll stay there, I don't know, but just trying to get in a little bit of the bounty hunting CG. I think I'm in the top 25 of this one now. Fighting. Was that a clipper? Target. The unshaped one. You get in on this one. Try to catch up on the chat. Yeah, I think he's joined the Discord. Target. Oh man, everybody's over there fighting. Okay, where'd that fighting go? There's some. Was there more? Yeah, right here. Target. A python. Get some of this dangerous python. Chaff. Just keep shooting at the Type 7. Chaff. 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 An example how much I don't understand yet. I see a station in lockdown, and I know some pilot made that happen, but how or how to undo it, no idea. Lockdown, to undo it, target. I don't believe there's an undoing of it. Lockdown, I believe, just has to, because nothing you do will help. I think it just has to run its course. Now, preventing lockdown is a different story. When you see that's a pending state, lockdown, you can one of the ways of starting a lockdown is to kill system authority in the system. But once it's started, I don't believe there's any actions that a commander can do to remedy the lockdown other than wait it out. Chaff. But again, like I was saying earlier, the background sim, there are plenty of known things, but it's also pretty damn cryptic. I mean, you could you can manipulate it pretty well without even knowing exactly how everything works, and just stick to what you know. Target. Chaff. Shooting plasmas at me. Target. Where did he go? I lost him. There he is. Target. Target. Tough shields on that courier, huh? Target. 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 Yeah, man, no matter what you're doing, if you want to join, you know, that's fine. We don't have a requirement on what you have to do. The only thing is we ask is you don't hurt our in-game presence, and you don't just, you know, spread any confidential information. That's it. Chaff. And we could even help you when you get back from exploring, depending on how long you went out and how much you want to make out of it. Chaff. You know, you can pledge to Liang Rui, and if you get up to rank 5 in the power play, you can make 3 times the exploration data. Chaff. If you wanted to hold on to your data, Chaff, and risk being killed for a week. Chaff. So the Kamote resistance did get kicked out, huh? Wing of 3. Do I want to engage him with my shields down so far? Yeah, that's an eagle, so I might be able to knock him out pretty quick. Chaff. My wife's putting the dogs to bed for the night, so I'm gonna mute myself. Yeah, the last time I looked, they were in retreat. I just don't know if it's over yet. I hope they leave. Chaff. No, we're 100% independent as far as in the game. That's not to say you can't pledge to a power and get whatever rewards you want, but as far as in the game goes, Dreadful Nomads and Nomads or Nevermore are 100% independent. Chaff. Wakanda. Hope somebody's shooting at him already. Nope. Yeah, as far as in the game goes, yes. But again, if you want to pledge to Aisling Duval to get your prismatic shields, more power to you. We'll even help you. You know, but as far as in the game goes, yeah, we'll always be not painted in a corner by faction or power. Be launching a fighter. Target. Little sucker. Chaff. Chaff. Target. Target. Chaff. 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 Target. Chaff. Target. Target. Chaff. Boom. Chaff. Retract weapons.
Retracting hardpoints.
Oh, let me try to catch up on chat. You guys are Empire. Okay, cool. Jump in.
Initiating jump sequence.
What's going on, Coxina? Coxina 88, I see you there. Welcome to the stream. Better go turn in before I get blown up. Well, he left when I said hi. I guess that's a no-no. You're not supposed to say hi to people. Yeah, I know some people like to lurk, but I mean, they didn't have to say anything. They could have kept lurking and not said anything. Or maybe it was just a coincidence. Maybe they were done anyway. I'm sure I put in the most hours on the weekend, but I play through the week also. I work Monday through Friday. Wife and kids, so for the most part, I log on daily. I might miss a whole day here or there, but for the most part, I get on daily. Dropping
to thruster velocity.
Dynamics, Juliet Uniform Sierra. The Imperial Flight
And I think Nick's the same way.
To our territory. We are honored by your visit. Station services have been informed of your arrival. Approval granted. You are cleared to set down.
Like it's 11:37 p.m. here. Through the week, I'm asleep by now. Gear down.
Landing gear deployed.
And to be honest, even this late during the week is kind of hit or miss for me. Sometimes I may stay up till 3 or 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, but that's hit or miss. Most of the time, I'm done by now. Also on the weekend, it's kind of late, but a lot of times on the weekends, you know, I get up early and I might be on at 6 or 7 in the morning. And I may be on for 2 or 3 hours and then get off and then be back on an hour or two later. So there's really no telling on the weekends, but for the most part, 5 p.m. or so Central Time. During the week, I'm on, and during the week, in general, most of the time, I'm off by 9 p.m. A lot of times earlier than that. Just depends on what's going on. Still just in the top 50 of the bounty hunting side of it. It's almost at tier 6, and it's still only about a third of the way complete. Whereas the trading one is 2/3 or 4/5 maybe complete. I'm in the top 25%, and that's 21 million. So I'd like to stay there. I'd really like to get in top 10, but I'd really like to stay in the top 25. So I'm going to switch over, do a couple more runs of the trading one. You know, it never fails. You slip in the standings when you're offline. I'm just going next door to that Colin something other. What's it called? Colin, and going to Planet 2 and going to a what's it called? A hazardous resource extraction site, and engaging anything that's wanted. You'd make a little more, you know, with a kill warrant scanner, but I have trouble surviving. It's been a long time since I played in the small ships, so it's hard for me to even survive, much less use up a utility slot with a kill warrant scanner. Let's see what it says. What it says is, I think it's anybody who has an empire or a bounty from this local faction here, the Chapter House Inquisition, I think. Let's see. Handing in bounty vouchers at Sean Market. Kind of looks like anything that's anything you can turn in at this station is what it looks like to me, which will be any of the minor factions and Empire. And it could be other major factions too, depending on who's here. Yeah, as long as you can redeem it there. Let's see who's all here. Patronage, that's going to be... well, I guess it could be anybody. Let's see who's here. Right here. Empire. Independent. They're anarchy, so they won't count. Well, I guess they would, because they still issue bounties. So any of these factions that they're wanted from, or Empire, because I don't think you can turn in, like, say, Federation bounties here, because there's not even a Federation minor faction. But 100% sure it's going to be Chapter House of Inquisition and Empire. And I'm pretty sure any of them that exist in this station. Which it should be all of them. Jump in.
Initiating jump sequence.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have a cutter on this one. Sink. With no shields in this T7, I'm doing 304 tons. Would be nice to have my cutter and do what, 720 per trip. Plus with the engineered FSD, I could probably do it in one jump. I think I was jumping what, 28 or something, carrying 700, was it 702 or 720 when we were flying back and forth to Colonia. And I was jumping 28, I think, with 720 or 702, I don't remember, tons. I think I had 720, I think 724, something like that. I didn't have shields, and I don't believe I had anything else. Maybe I might have had a small auto field maintenance unit, maybe, because I'm traveling 22,000 light years, but I don't think so. I think I was filled up with cargo racks. Oh yeah, had a big fuel scoop on mine too. I think a class 6, I think. Drop.
Dropping to thruster velocity.
Yeah, it would put it up around 800 with no fuel scoop. Is that class 6? I think I had a class 6 fuel scoop. That would be another. Is it 32 tons on a class 6 or 64?
Your docking request has been approved. Please proceed to Bay 10.
Yeah, mine does a lot of setting too. But if I had one on this account, I would be using it for this. Gear down.
1,000 meters from touchdown. Touchdown confirmed. You may alight when ready. The Imperial Flight Operations Bureau welcomes you to this facility, Commander.
Oops. I didn't mean to bookmark it. How do you get rid of the bookmark? Like this. I got enough needless bookmarks around the galaxy. The private group for members only. So there should be nobody else other than members, and I think people that helped us, like Outpost Antara, helped us load up for the community goal, the Colonia expansion. I think she might be in it, but anyway, it's well, yeah, send me a friend request first. This one is called Justice Carrison. It's right there on the screen. JUSTUS Carrison, KARISSON. That's the name of the private group too. 9 times out of 10 though, I'm not on this account. I'm just, since this is in the bubble and my other one's about 24,000 light years away, I'm working on this one to try to build up some credits so I can move it out to Colonia. That's my idea anyway. It might not happen, but that's what I plan to do. Sync. And my main account is a skip shooter with zeros instead of O's. And Geofats is like his name is here in Twitch. Geofat75. Alright, I got you. Drop.
Dropping to thruster velocity.
Someone said the beta was going back closed on the 4th, I think, September 4th, maybe. If that's the case, I wonder if they're going to push out a new build. And if that's the case, I wonder if they're going to have us added in that build of the beta. gear down.
Kindly reduce speed to 100 meters per second.
I thought it was public now.
Landing complete. Initiating lockdown procedures. Enjoy your stay, Commander. Your comfort is our top priority.
It's went down from when I first started trading from that the system and station. It was 3,100 per ton, and now it's went down to less than 2,500 a ton. Still not bad. I mean, making credits on the trade plus the CG. So what I heard was it was going closed, back to closed beta on September 4th. And then the only release I've heard is Q3 2017. Well, September's the last month of Q3, so I'm expecting it to release. They usually do Tuesdays, I think. So let's see, let me look at my calendar. Well, the 4th is Monday. Maybe it's the 5th UK time or server time. I bet it goes live maybe the 19th or 26th. If they stick to the Q3, because if you get into October, that's fourth quarter, October, November, December. Yeah, I bet this is done tonight or tomorrow. Doesn't look like it's moved much. 3 hours ago, though, it was moving, buddy. I mean, it was under tier 7 3 or 4 hours ago. But now that it's the wee hours in Europe and becoming the wee hours of the morning, sun coming up 6 a.m., it kind of stalled out. But in another few hours, I bet it starts picking up again. I bet within 6 hours or so, it's going to be complete. We'll see, though. It may make it all the way through tomorrow. It's got 4 days, but I don't think it's going to make it 4 days before it tops out at the top tier. Alright, I think that's going to do it for me for tonight. I'm getting pretty tired. It's good talking to you and meeting you, Excalibur. GeoFat, I'll see you next time. And if you ever need to get a hold of Excalibur, if you need to get a hold of me or GeoFat, you can do it on Discord or on our website. Discord is, if we're online, is going to be more immediate. If we're not online, then you can still message us on Discord. Have a good night.